In order to optimize your nutrition for optimum performance, you need to be acutely aware of the importance of fueling correctly. There's a concept known as periodized nutrition, where you match your fueling to the intensity of your training. So for instance, on a low training day, you'd be including about 3 grams of carbohydrate per kilogram of body weight. A higher intensity training session, you're looking at about 5 to 7 grams of carbohydrate per kilogram of body weight. And then, if you're looking at a training for event or preparing for event, you need to increase your carbohydrate about 24 to 36 hours before the event, which is called carb loading, and that's about 7 grams per kilogram of body weight. And then that means that you have enough fuel for the intensity of the game or the event. Timing your nutrition is really, really important also. So about 1 hour before your training, you want to include a carbohydrate and a protein snack. So something like a granola bar, banana, protein yogurt would be ideal snack 1 hour beforehand. And then afterwards, you really need to optimize the recovery window and ensure that you're replacing, improving your glycogen stores, raising them up, and also replacing and repairing your muscles in terms of protein intake. So you're looking at about a carbohydrate intake of 3 to 1 carbohydrate to protein in order to optimize your recovery. So remember the importance of fueling to match the intensity of your training. When talking about the importance of fueling correctly for optimum performance, I also have to mention the impact of underfueling on the body. There's a syndrome in sport called relative energy deficiency in sport, otherwise known as REDS. And signs and symptoms of REDS in the body includes recurrent infection, so you're getting sick a lot more than you normally would, recurrent injuries, so you're prone to more injury, skipping periods, amenorrhea, so you can lose your period if you're a female athlete if you're underfueling, impaired performance, poor concentration, poor sleep. So there's a whole host of issues if you're not fueling correctly, basically if you're not increasing the energy intake for the demands of your sport. So remember, in order to meet the demands of your sport, you have to be including regular intake of carbohydrates and protein. You need to time your meals correctly, think about 3 meals and 3 snacks to make sure that you're fueling correctly for your sport. Please understand that recovery and optimum recovery is as important as fueling for your training and for your games. Recovery, there's a window within 1 hour of training and an event that you need to hit, and it's called the power hour. And what the power hour means is that you need to replace protein and replace glycogen stores in order to optimize recovery. So you need to have protein and carbohydrate with your recovery meal. It could be in a smoothie or it could be in a meal, but really you're looking at about 3 to 1 carbs to protein. Include 20 gram hit of protein for the next 48 hours. That will mean that you optimize recovery, that your body is being repaired, that you're having a good recovery window, and that you're ready for the next. So to recap, think about regular protein intake for 48 hours after a training and an event. In order to recover optimally from your sport, from your training, you really need to understand the importance of quality sleep. Elite athletes, the science shows, should be getting 9 hours quality sleep per night. Now, in order to do that, you really need to respect the process of winding down at night. Sleep will not just happen. There's a very simple formula that I use when I'm working with my clients, and it goes 10, 3, 2, 1. 10 hours before your desired bedtime, think about eliminating caffeine. That means essentially not having any caffeine after lunch, which is manageable for most people. 3 hours before your desired bedtime, think about no food. Like, that doesn't have to be a hard and fast rule, but just think about not having a big meal too close to bedtime. 2 hours before your desired bedtime, no work. Switch off, put the laptop away, put the devices away, be present, and start winding down. And 1 hour before your desired bedtime, think about no screens. TV can be okay, but really you want to get rid of the blue light that's emitted from all those devices. So that's it. 10, 3, 2, 1, simple formula for optimizing quality sleep. Do not let inadequate fluid intake compromise your performance in any way. What you should be aiming for is about 35 millilitres of water per kilogram of body weight. That equates to about 2.5 to 3 litres for most people. Think about making sure that you're hydrating regularly throughout the day. Signs and symptoms of dehydration include dry mouth, dizziness, fatigue, impaired performance, poor judgment and reaction time, dark urine. You don't want this to compromise your performance. So what you need to aim for is think about maybe weighing yourself before and after training to see how much weight loss you are actually losing. And for every kilogram of body weight that you lose, make sure that you're replacing it with 1.5 litres of water. This will mean that you're rehydrating, recovering optimally, and also preparing for your next training session.